Hey guys, we have a 30-minute game against somebody rated 482. So that's over 1,000 points lower rated than me. Okay, I'm going to meet d4 with d5 and we'll see what we get. Okay, the Queen's Gambit. Right, I'm going to meet that with c6. This is called the Slav defense. But names don't really matter. The point is, he's attacking my d-pawn with a wing pawn, so I'm defending it again with a wing pawn. Alright, so now he's got two attackers. But if he takes and I take and he takes back, I've got queen takes. There's always an option there. I've got to also play my knight out here. I feel like what I want to do is develop this bishop, but that's not a great square because he could just play f3 and kick me again. I could also capture on e4. There's a thought. Let's do that. It's a free pawn, it's undefended. This is called the Danish Gambit, apparently. Okay, and it's offering me another pawn. I think it would be rude not to. Now, he could recapture now with a knight and gain reasonable development for the loss of his pawn. However, I'm not happy about this. Right? He's got lines to his king. I've got a check here, which could be met by bishop d2, or even knight here, or knight there, or whatever. And I don't really have other good options along this line, do I? Maybe what we should be doing now is developing, so this bishop, maybe e6 then. I think this bishop. What could my opponent do that would upset me? He's got an isolated pawn now on the f-file. Not a fat lot. His queen can't come out this way and there's no use there, so accept a draw? Hell no. Let's just develop this knight. He would like to chat. Why does he want a draw? I'll tell him I'm making a YouTube video. Okay, another pawn move does free up space for his queen, but also makes life difficult for his bishop. Okay, I think right now he needs to be thinking about development rather than pawn moves. Okay, now he's developed a piece. Cool. Okay, now, so where can this knight go? There. This is well covered, that's fine. That's covered by a pawn, that's covered by a pawn. That's not a good square, so not worried about the knight. Should we push e6? Maybe develop this bishop, maybe with a pin on the knight? Tell him. Okay, so he's attacking my bishop, which is defended by a pawn. I can drop back. Can't defend it with a knight. I can go here. I can go there and hit the queen. Now his queen's got to go somewhere like this, unless he wants to block with his knight or with his bishop or with his other knight. This is defended once. Okay, so he's now pinned his own knight. That's the first thing I notice. Okay, should we bring out the other bishop with a pin here or there? There it's looking at this pawn which is defended once. I like this. I think it's a bit more aggressive. He's got 2 pinned knights now. And he's not about to castle. He wants to know the name of my YouTube channel. Let's send that then. Okay, now this pawn is effectively undefended because its only defender is actually pinned to the queen. Alright, so can I attack it? Now I can't take with a queen. If knight takes queen, bishop takes queen, and I lose my bishop, I think, is the upshot. So castle now, or bring out this knight? I think probably castle. He's chatting about the channel. He says he's not seen my channel before. No one's seen my channel. It's a secret. Ooh, I don't like that. We do not like that, Precious. Why has he moved his king from there to there? I mean, on one hand, it's cutting down some angles, you know. Yes, the king in the middle of the board can be attacked from many, many angles, right? But in the corner, the available angles of attack are reduced. Yeah, that's one of the reasons why we castle. But, damn. You know, he's moved his king right into space. He'd have been much better off putting his king over here and then maybe moving it to b1 behind a couple of pawns. Right? But he's definitely moved too many pawns at this point in time. So I kind of want to develop this knight, but I don't know where it's going to go from there. Maybe here. Don't see any immediate tactics. This knight is still pinned, so I'd still like to attack that pawn, but don't really know how. Let's develop the knight. Get the knight out somewhere like this. Could even maybe centralise a rook, put the knight round here. That's the thought. And come after this pawn again. Bishop and queen can line up against this pawn. All ideas. So, Hanoj won. Okay, surely that blunders the knight. Yeah, pawn takes. Pawn takes. Oof. But then takes. Okay, so if I'd have just immediately snapped and captured that, he would have grabbed that with the discovery, right? But now I can take this one. He can't recapture with the knight. He can recapture with the queen. But he's going to lose a piece either way. If he recaptures, I get the knight. Thank you very much. Okay, now he's got a pawn back for his trouble. So, okay, very important. Always pause. My first thought is queen b6. Pins this pawn. This knight is no longer pinned to the queen. This is a nice square for my knight. Very nice square indeed. That's tempting. This guy might also go to there. Let's centralise this knight first. I like the idea of maybe queen here or queen here. Okay, that is defended once. That is defended once. That is defended. That is. He's actually, everything is actually defended. I've also got knight 7 to f6 as well. Okay, what's the point of that move? If I take that, he has to recapture with the queen. If he recaptures with the rook, I get the knight. If I take that and he captures with the queen, I don't think it's really very good, to be fair. Good push here. Oh no, but then if the pawn moves, the queen is also defending the knight. So I think he's looking at this square, isn't he? So maybe I should just play that, or even bishop back here and try and trade off. I'm a piece up. I think that looks actually quite aggressive. This, I don't really want to have to move a piece in front of my king, unless there's a very good reason. And it's not bad, you know. He's only got a light squared bishop here, so putting my pawns on light squares isn't a bad thing. But I'm quite happy if he wants to trade off here. Then I get rid of my e-pawn and we open up the whole e-file. Oof. And that's just simply a blunder. One move blunders, right? Yep. So it's definitely resignable position now. And this is what you get. I can't offer him a take back. Play it again. Unrated. Okay, well it's a lost position, so well, I'll offer him a draw. Okay, and we'll rematch. Right, let's go. So, yeah, it's the one move blunders, putting your piece on a square where it can be captured. Right, very simple. Okay. So it's unrated, fine to draw. Okay, we have a Sicilian. Okay, am I going to play this normal or should I go wing gambit? Wing gambit is my thing. It is my thing. Okay, there we go. Let's go full Monty. If takes, knight takes. My knight wants to head up here. Ooh, okay. Now, I take, he can't recapture. Because look. Boom. So I'm having that pawn. That pawn, that's mine, that is. You can't take it, mate. You cannot take the pawn. I think he's figured it out. Okay, good. Right, so now, what do we do? Claim the center. Okay. I think I need to move the pawn. Need to play d4. Just to prevent him from having... Ooh, dear. Okay, I've got 3 pieces now attacking that. Okay, this is an example of unnecessary pawn moves at the start of the game. What he hasn't done is controlled any of the center. Look what I've got. I've got all these squares that are under my control, and my bishop controls this. Yeah? There's just no reason to play that move. He's moved from a square where, yeah, it was attacked once, defended once, to this square where it's attacked no fewer than 3 times. And he's wasted a turn, which could have been spent developing. Okay, that's not bad, but he has opened up a line towards his king. So this, he's got options. Let's play c4. Just really stake our claim over the center of the board. All right, okay. Now I'm kind of inclined to want to move this bishop. Maybe to there, on the long diagonal. And it also defends the rook, which means I can then move my knight. Should also think about this kind of thing. Getting the king to safety. Alright, so what's this bishop doing? It could go here and harass my queen, but then that's just going to prompt my queen to move to a better square. So I'm not worried about that. Let's bring the knight out. Okay. That is not a move that I'm convinced by. Can't go here, because if bishop takes, queen takes, my rook falls to his rook, yeah? Oh, actually, no, yeah. Hang on. Yeah, so I can't do it. If knight there, bishop takes, queen takes, rook with check, and that's very unpleasant. So, just here. Defends this pawn, which wasn't defended before. This pawn's defended. What video is this? He says, what video is this? just going to be a general video. Okay, I'm inclined to push, maybe. This pawn is defended. That is defended. He wants to know what the video is about. It's about getting better at chess and not making one move blunders. Okay, so here... that looks okay. Also kind of traps his bishop in. Excuse me. Fighting off the end of this chess cold. With the help of... I've got a nebulizer. Okay, so he's moved his knight back now. Okay, yeah, it's nebulizer thing. It whizzes stuff up into a cloud that you can then inhale. And there's something called thieves oil, which is pretty cool. So I've got this. So I put my bishop here just because it's got more options than it has here, right? Yeah, thieves oil. There was something to do with the plague, right? Okay, so he wants to put his bishop here, yeah. Yeah, something about when the plague was around, and there were thieves that used to go and raid people's houses. Oh, he's brought his bishop out there. He's attacking me as a queen. Right, where does my queen want to go? Where does my queen want to go? Got this. So I can't go here, here, here. Right, this whole diagonal is out of bounds. Okay. Why do you have that profile pick? Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3. It fits with chess boot camp. Okay. I don't want to come on the back rank, so that's out. So I'm either going to go here or here. And let's go here. Because of that. I don't want to block it off. Oh. Okay, now if I push here, this knight is undefended and so is the rook behind it. I think he's going to have to drop his bishop back. But let's try it. I've got my king castled, which is a good thing. He hasn't, which is bad. Okay, I didn't realise he had that. I didn't think about that. Okay. So now my bishops are looking clunky. Right, so let's read the board. We have a gridlock situation in the middle of the board, right? That makes life unpleasant for bishops. So, my opponent wants to castle this way. He's made a weakening pawn move already. So I'm thinking f4 looks like a good break. Could put my knight here. And think about f4. Yeah. He might push and try and harass the knight, which is only going to help me really, because I can just move back. Could also push g3. Okay. All right. Huh. Now, I can't go there yet because he's got two attackers and I've only got a rook. So I'm going to play this and maybe drop the knight back here and then f4, where the knight is also defending that square, yeah? We've got the same formation. Okay. Could also now drop my bishop back here and try and trade off with this guy. Yeah, that's not brilliant. That's not a great move, guy. Yeah? Again, he's weakened the king and he's also undefended these squares. And now if I could get my knight into either of these squares, happy days. And look at this. Knight there, knight there. That's pretty good. He could take maybe bishop maybe around to here. Got options. Just improves it slightly. I'm not worried about this bishop. This bishop's doing nothing at all. So is his queen. His queen's doing nothing at all right now as well. This bishop's actually pretty much stuck. H4 takes, knight takes, and his king's in fresh air. That could be interesting. Queen here. This knight is undefended. If he moves that knight, then he's got discovered defense by the queen. That was pointless. Okay, that pawn is in an undefended spot now. So I could play queen here and just have a look at that knight. Is that a genuine threat? Wouldn't be against most players. Or can I play this now? No, he's got 1, 2, 3 pieces on it. Here, takes, 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 takes. It's workable. Let's just improve this bishop first. Maybe bring the bishop round to here, where it's defended by the pawn. Then when I play f4, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4. I've still got 4. He's defending it already. What? What's that in aid of? I just put my bishop here and off you go. On your way, mate. He has to retreat now. Got 2 squares. I do not get that move at all. That was just a complete waste of a turn. Right? Okay, now, what about h4? He can't take because he loses his bishop. Let's send Harry off. Go on, Harry. Off you go. Cause some trouble, mate. He can't. Ooh, but that's the same. Again, 1 move blunders. This is what you get below 500. You get it quite a lot at other levels too. Okay, I'm thinking drop my bishop back to here. When will you release the vid? Later today, mate. Okay, now he's moved that. So I have got the option of trading off. But this knight's on a dark square, and I've got a lot of light squared pawns, right? So I'm covering quite a lot of squares here. This pawn is hanging. I think it'd be rude not to capture that one. And now his position is really falling apart. And I think moving the pawn from in front of his king was fairly fundamental. Okay, he's attacking my queen. That's actually a good square for his knight. He's also attacking this pawn, which is otherwise undefended. So, queen here looks good. Yeah, he might come in here and attack the rook, but that's fine. I can just move anywhere, really. We want to think about attacking this king, don't we? So I might even, you know, if he comes after that rook, I might just ignore that. Bishop here, takes, queen takes. Very good position there. I'm a bishop and 2 pawns up. Okay, he's attacking the rook. Now, have I got time to destroy my opponent? And if I let him take the rook, how can I checkmate? 1, 2, 3 is checkmate, right? If I go 1, he captures the rook. I go 2, what can he do? That is the question. Knight here doesn't work, he loses the knight. Okay, let's try it. There, queen here threatens mate. And I'm thinking it's unstoppable. He has got knight there. But I'm luring him in. with the promise of a free rook, or certainly a free exchange. I think this is the most direct way to try and mate. Okay, in we go. Now what's he got? So king here is mate, right? King here isn't playable because he's moving. Oh, he can't move there either. King can't move. Okay, right. No options for the king. No options for the rooks. Checkmate. Boom. One more. Okay. All right. Rematch. Let's go. Okay, this is going to be really, really useful for Anoj 1. Right, let's go. Is he going to play d4 again? If so, let's... Oh no, we've got an e4. Okay, let's go French. Huh. He's moved Freddie. Takes. Check. Blocks, wins pawn back. Okay. That is there. So queen here, right? What's he got? He can block with a pawn. He can't block with any pieces. So that is an error. There's a, never play f3. To quote Grandmaster Ben Feingold. But you don't know that because you're not grandmasters. Need to work on my chess YouTube impressions. How does Feingold talk? Okay, so take this. Ooh! Ouch! Damn! Ow! That's gotta hurt. Oh, there's an opening blunder straight out the traps. Not Andy loses a knight. I think king here would have been alright because then the queen discovered defense on that, and hot damn. Okay, right, I can trade queens. I've also got this. I mean, I'm +9 on move 8. Come on, let's do this now. The queen is defended by the bishop, so there's always that. Okay, I have this. No, I don't. Okay, I'm going to trade the queens off and simplify matters. Bring the knights out. Okay. This is horrible. What a horrible start. And all from that weak move. So he's okay, anyway, right, let's bring the knight out, attack this pawn. Okay, very simple now. Case of, I might not even castle. Let's take. And let's advance the knight. I'm attacking this bishop. I might bring my other bishop out to somewhere. Okay, this is alright. This is defended by pawn and knight here. So if pawn takes, I've got pawn takes. Okay, let's chuck in a check. And he's not got this, or this. What can he do? Block with the bishop? It's almost checkmate. Is that checkmate? It only is. What a beauty. Okay. Thanks for the games. Please subscribe to my channel. Okie doke. Interesting, but wow. Wow. That is a complete arse kicking, right? just check this out. In the French, f3 looks perfectly kind of natural, doesn't it? You're thinking, if my opponent captures here, I'll recapture. But then takes, boom, bada boom, bada boom. Now what he should have done here, I think, is move the king. Or bishop here to defend the knight. But no, it's just a complete collapse. Trade off the queens. And then a mating net. Wow. That's just a thing of beauty. Whoa, whoa, whoa. And anyway, very interesting. So, Anoj won. You know, not meaning to rub your nose in it, but that was a real collapse at the end. I hope that this video is useful for you, my friend, and hope it's useful for everyone else watching as well. 3 games, 3 completely different kind of approaches. But yeah, I think in the one move blunders, you know, you've got to practice this. Okay, now if I play f3, okay, so you've got to think about, it's a 30-minute game, right? If I play f3 and he takes and I take back, right? Now the thing you need to know is that Freddie defends your king. So anytime you even think about moving your f-pawn, right, you've got to think about king safety, okay? So if I play this and takes, I've got a diagonal open to here, right? And because the e-pawn has moved, queen can come out, right? This is a classic. Right, got one more game. Waldo Wen is challenging me. 10-25, unrated. Let's go. Oppa Danish style. Come on, let's go for a Danish Gambit. Oh yes, oh yes. Full Danish. Oh yes. Now there is a refutation. I think d5 is the move to play. Okay. Knight to here. Is e5? e5 hits the knight and saves the pawn. Got queen here with the threat of bishop takes that. Okay. Now I can actually capture that en passant, can't I? That's a thought. If I capture en passant, he can take with queen or bishop or c-pawn. Or I can take the knight. If he takes bishop, we trade queens. Don't know. I don't really know. Takes here. Let's try that one. I'm still threatening the knight with my bishop. Okay. I'm inclined to develop my queen maybe to here. Attack this. Go on then. We live dangerously. It's the Danish. The Danish is here for our fun and amusement. With these 2 killer bishops. You've got to make use of it. Key with the Danish Gambit is you've got to stop your opponent from castling. If your opponent gets castled, he's usually quite comfortable. So I'm attacking f7 twice. That's now undefended. If I take, he's got queen takes with check. My queen takes, his f-pawn takes. Again, we've moved Freddie, yeah? And that should be good for yours truly. He takes, I take back. That's not too bad. I've also got bishop takes knight. And then if pawn takes, he's got horrible double pawns. Is that good, though? I've always got this. If I take, queen takes, king dodges out the way. I kind of like that. Queen takes here, so he's lined up his king and his queen. And then you just move your king, and then just subtly try and slide your rook over to e1, pinning the queen. Huh. You want to trade? Okay, block with the bishop is a thought. It's kind of forcing. I'm 2 pawns down, yep. I take there, he recaptures again with check. That's annoying. If I take here, he takes, I take with the pawn, he takes my bishop. Ugh. Knight here, that's not fantastic. Gotta do something. Queen here, if he takes, I recapture. He takes my bishop, I take his knight, mess up his pawns. If he takes my queen, I can always just come back here. So, how about just this little cheeky move here? If he takes my queen, I save my bishop. So that would be a big blunder from black. That was a blunder. And now I'm actually up in material. Because I grabbed his piece, didn't I, here? I grabbed his bishop, didn't I? Something like that. Okay, big mistake. Right, I'm going to mess up his pawns now. And then I'm going to try and get a rook out and stop him from castling this way. If I can. Now, right now his king's tied to the defense of f7, so I think... Can I play like knight out here and then knight here maybe? Pair up my knights, check, something like that. Actually, if he castles now, he's castling with his rook straight onto there, attacking my knight. So I've got to play this. Now, so I haven't got time to capture that pawn. But I do have an extra piece. I've got 2 knights to his 1. Okay, I'm going to trade off. No problemo, pal. No bother. Okay. I'm thinking knight here, hit the rook with tempo. Tempo. Let's get the king safe and let's develop the other rook. Okay, he's defending this. If this pawn should ever move, I can put my bishop on there. That would be cool. Pinning the rook onto the king. Huh. Now he wants to do this because he's cheeky. Oh, you cheeky. You cheeky monkey. Right. I'm just going to line up my rook with his king. Nothing spectacular. Let's get rook centralized. Rooks can't go there. Not much point doing there either. I can put my rook on d1 and force some trades off. Because I've got bishop looking at d1 as well. So this, I can now guarantee a trade of rooks. Because even if he runs away with one of them, I can take the other one. Okay, you're attacking a rook, so I take a rook. It was an interesting move. I'm not threatening this, but he's going to take one of my rooks. Okay. So now I would just stick my rook on c2, which is a light-coloured square, so it's ghosted from that bishop. And we are looking all right. I'm down 2 pawns, but I'm up a knight. Hokey coke. And his pawns are bad. These pawns bad, right? And you'll see the impact of this one simple pawn capture, yeah? Could really cause him some trouble. Let's try this. So I'm attacking this pawn now. He might want to trade off, but then... Okay, now all he's got is 1 rook. And that's not enough. I'm inclined to play this for some reason. If I can persuade this pawn to move. What do we do? What do we do? Just push a pawn. Just stopping off lines for his rook. I'll be able to move here. Okay. Time to press up. Maybe attack this pawn. Attack that pawn with the king. Okay, that just drops the pawn, eh? Yep. What you doing? Huh? What you doing now? I'd love to go there, but I can't. Here? And possibility of this check. Force the trade of rooks. And I end up with a bishop. But I've got to be a bit careful because he has got this pawn majority on that side of the board. So let's not dick about. Okay, trading rooks, I'm happy to do that. He can't go here. Okay, I'm going to put my king here. This pawn's about to fall. Okay, these pawns are all facing off. So, yeah, okay. So, let's push that up. Bishop is now undefended. I've got this, I can put my bishop here. I've kind of lost my grip on this game a little bit. Okay, now I can take the pawn though. And then if I go here, he can move his king back and defend the pawn. If I take and allow him to take, he's got these two here. Huh. No, I don't want to allow that. So now he's got to move his king back here. So we're going to end up, I want my opponent to end up in a Zugzwang situation where he has to move his king away from the defense of this pawn. Okay, so right now he's got this square only that defend the pawn. So he's got two squares and he can keep going backwards and forwards between those two squares. So I'm just going to push pawns up. Okay. Now I've got 1, 2. This was also an idea, so I want to persuade his pawn to go forward there. Yeah. So let's push this. King goes here, I've always got this. Attacking the king. King moves back there. No, I'm not doing terribly well on this. Okay. Check. He's got to move back here to defend the pawn. Let's go here. Bishop's always guarding that. If I can trade my pawn for one of these, yeah? And then my bishop can trade for the other one. And now, bang, right? So now this is a one game for me because my bishop is guarding a2, right? So all I have to do is get my king round here, right? Take out one of these pawns and get a queen. It is simplicity itself. And the king can't go onto that diagonal, right? So now he doesn't have time. Well, I just have to make sure that the minute that pawn goes onto a2, the bishop sniper takes it out. Okay, bishop takes a2. Okay, and now this is just, you know, fairly straightforward. Finish. Operation Don't Be a Dumbass and stalemate your opponent is the idea. So let's throw in some checks. Another check. Now he has to go back there. Okay, and that pawn. And he can't touch the pawn. Okay, there we go. Interesting win, but I think, yeah, thanks Walderman. Yeah, good game. You held on pretty well there, and it looked as though we could have ended up with a kind of stalemate situation, but let's just go back a few moves. This is the situation. Right, this was the mistake. Didn't need to push this pawn, right? We had a potential draw here. Basically, just don't move that. Although, that is taking that square away from the king, so the king can't actually move here. There's only one square for the king now that defends his pawn. That's interesting. So if you push that, you lose, okay? But also if you push this, you lose. So I'd actually somehow, yeah, this is the key thing. This move here, covering this square, took this square away from the king. So now he's only got one square where the king is safe and can defend the pawn, and one square isn't enough. Because if the king's only got one square, my opponent's got to move, right? And then with this, is taking that away as an idea. And now, covering both of these squares, that's interesting. That's interesting. So now the king cannot move without abandoning this pawn, therefore forcing this, but as soon as I trade off now, it's now a one game for me. Very, very interesting. Okay, so there you go, guys. 4 games for the price of 1. Thanks everyone for watching. Thanks to my opponents. Some good play. Hope you picked up 1 or 2 things, and I'll see you later.